All right, guys, it's time for entertainment news. So let's begin. Blackface discusses African Queen remake and why a Plantashun Boiz reunion might never happen. Nigerian artist Ahmedu Augustine, aka Blackface Naija, has released his version of Tubaba's 20-year-old monster hit, African Queen. In a recent interview with us, he explained that he felt it necessary to do a remake to show his original intention for the song, which he claims was written by him. When asked if he would ever reunite with his former Plantashun Boiz bandmates, Two-Face and FaZe, for an album or tour, just for old time's sake and, of course, for the fans, he led us to believe that that might never happen. However, he further explained that since he has rights to the Plantashun Boiz name, he has a new strategy for the band. Let's take a look at the interview.
There's need for upgrade.
Just like the sun, light up the earth, you light up my life.
This is that he knew. So these are the two verses he knew, so he had to write a third verse to it.
I love you, I love you. Oh, yeah.
Not like everybody associates African Queen with Two-Face. Two-Face is not the only singer that has sang African Queen. There are other people that have sang African Queen, even beautiful, even more beautiful than how Two-Face tried to sing it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So he's not the only singer. And so I just felt the need for, if you want to teach your child new tricks, it's you to decide when to teach your child. Nobody's going to tell you you should have been teaching him yesterday. You need to know I run this place. I decide when I sing. I decide when I don't.
You are my African queen. You, baby, girl, I'm my dream. You are. You take me where I never been. You take me. You make my heart go ting-a-ling-a-ling.
It doesn't really have to be the initial members. Adele, for example, coming to sing a song for Plantashun Boiz. Like, this is a Plantashun Boiz song, but it's going to be sung by Adele. And the song is written by Mr. Banky W. For example, it doesn't really have to be this vocal because there are vocalists all over the world. I don't know if you heard Johnny Drill. Johnny Drill singing my first song I ever wrote in my life, You and I. You see, I wrote that song, and Two-Face didn't write it, FaZe didn't write it, I wrote it. So if Johnny Drill is singing what I wrote, it tells you that there's several people that can also sing. If I could write for the band, and somebody else person can sing for the band.
My African queen, yeah. Girl, you the shine like the star up in the
The album, The Return by the Plantashun Boiz, the band, is coming out in 2020. So watch out for the album, The Return by Plantashun Boiz. You're going to be surprised. You can have Adele singing on the album. You can have Beyonce. You can have Jay-Z rapping. But it's Plantashun Boiz.
Now this one is for the black woman.
Okay, so obviously we ended that with his own, his remake here. So I found this interview very, very interesting. You could tell that there's a difference, and we were just talking about this, you could tell that there's a difference in composure between the Blackface that we knew from, like, say, even last year when he was here to the Blackface that we see now in this interview, and of course the other interviews that have surfaced recently. I feel like there's an intentional plan to calm down and, be careful about being as aggressive as he was before. He made some very interesting points, salient points. He talked about how, yes, fine, it's been 20 years, but it's his song. He wrote the song, so he can decide when he chooses to put out his own version. Also, his initial plan for the song was a reggae version, and so that's why he had to release this one for people to see the initial plan. And apparently, his grouse is the fact that, okay, so I wrote the song. I gave Tubaba, or Two-Face at the time, permission to write this, to put out this song, but he wishes that he was there in the studio when Two-Face was recording it, so that he would, give more direction as to how, do you get? So he gave an instance about how, he had a song that someone wrote for him, and when he wanted to put out the song or do the song, he was like, yo, this is how I'm trying to do it. What do you think? What do you think? So I think he wanted more creative input, not just...
Was he compensated?
So I think that's another thing that's, upsetting him, because obviously everybody knows the song as Tubaba's song. So obviously all the credit is going to him.
No, I mean in terms of, writers.
So I don't think
compensation
that happened, which is another reason that we've obviously heard him talking about this for so long, so long. So I think he wishes that his credit would also come to him. And I think what really stuck out is the fact that he seemed pained about the fact that, look, I wrote this song now. It's my song. I gave you permission, yes, which I think should really end the matter. You gave permission, but he wanted more input.
Okay.
Okay, so I read a lot of comment online after this interview TVC did with Blackface, and you know, people are still of the opinion, like I saw a lot of people calling him out and saying that, so you think your own version will go far? And I'm like, why are people like this? This is a song. He said he wrote the song. He can wake up, he can do the song today and wake up tomorrow and say, I still want to do another one. So it is not about, you know, your own will not go far as Two-Face's own went far. So the thing is, I think people should just understand that, especially when you have a baby, you have a project, you give birth to this baby, this project, and there is a way you want it to go. So I think people should just calm down. And it's very unfortunate that, especially on social media, you see that when somebody is very popular, they don't get to even wait to hear his own side or the other person's side. If you're so unpopular or you're not as popular as the other person, people take sides blindly. So this person is just pained. And I think that somebody has been talking to him, because from what I can see, he calms down. In fact, the interview with Wake Up Nigeria 2 with Mary, it was another Blackface I saw entirely. So if this can happen, kudos to whoever, if that was what happened, you know? So I think that because, I mean, I think this person should just be listened to. He just wants to be heard, and he wants some things. So I think that we can move on from there.
I beg to differ with that, because if you're saying he wants to be heard, I mean, this is not the first time that this issue is coming up. I think it came up sometime last year as well, even before last year. This has been a conversation that when you now think of Blackface, the newer generation is going to think of him comparing himself to Two-Face, which I don't think is good for his PR or his image at all. Now, yes, you can say he's the one who wrote the song, and that is the reason why I asked if he was financially compensated. Now, if he wasn't compensated, then he has an argument. But is this the way to go about it? Is this the manner of approach? How does this help him? How does this help his career? I don't see it helping him. I see it making him look like a counterfeit, or making him look like someone to be compared with Two-Face. Now, you can say, yes, African Queen is the song that really brought Two-Face out, but you can't say that is the only thing that Two-Face has to his credit. So, yes, let's look at this argument. Let's look at the fact that he wrote this song, I didn't get credit. But can we move on? Can we hear your new material? Can we see more of your creative inputs? I think that's where I'm at.
I guess for him, it's hard to move on because he feels like he didn't get what was due him, like, you know, money and all those things. Now, second thing though, a different side to this whole thing, I do feel like if he had, because Plantashun Boiz were a big deal back then, and not just for Two-Face, for Blackface Naija, for Face. They individually were known for their talent. So here's what I think. I think if he had done this remake, if he had released this, perhaps way earlier, like closer to the time that Two-Face released his, maybe people would have wanted to listen to it, as in maybe people would have given him ear. Versus now where it's like, guy, it's been 20, I'm sure people are like, dude, it's been 20 years, chill, man. Nobody is going to believe you. Two-Face has even moved on from African Queen.
To be honest, I'm not even bothered about 20 years or 25 years, because if we're in a correct system, what is due you is due you. Your royalties are due you, even if it's 20 years after. But what I'm saying is that don't let that be what people think of you for. When you think Blackface, you should think of a fantastic musician, a fantastic singer, songwriter, not somebody who is always fighting with Two-Face. And he's slowly becoming that person. Because whether you like it or not, 20 years is a very long time. Now, Two-Face is still relevant to a 15-year-old, a 16, 14-year-old, because he has been making more music, he has been evolving with his career, but you don't want to be known to just people who knew 20 years back.
Okay, so I would say that I don't think he was comparing himself to Two-Face. It was just asking for acknowledgement. It wasn't comparing himself. That is, I mean, then I would say again that, well, if he says that this is how he wants to move on, because he has had other works. He released songs. In fact, even when he came here, we still listen to his new songs. So it's not as if he's not been working. But if this is what gives him peace.
Anyway, he did talk about how there's a hearing, I think, next month. He wasn't even too sure of the date, but I think he said October 5th or so. So we'll see how things unravel. Also, for those hoping for a Plantashun Boiz reunion, that's not happening. Because he also talked about how, look, tomorrow I can write a song and Adele will be the one to sing on it, and I'll say it's Plantashun Boiz. So he feels like, or he said that he has trademark rights, he has rights to the name. So whatever he wants to do with the band name from here on out is his business. So if you, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the Johnny Drill.
Yeah. Talk about it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So he's like, if tomorrow I want to say Johnny Drill come, Banky W come, Adele come, let's form Plantashun Boiz, then he can decide to do that according to him, that he has rights to the name and whatever he does.
How does that seem to you? As you're hearing it, how does that seem to you?
Look, if you have rights to a name, then you can do whatever on earth you want to do with the name. It's your business, your rights, your life, all right?
All right, on that note, we're just going to move on to some more news. Now, in the foreign scene, Lori Harvey shares photo of flat tummy. Lori Harvey, daughter of talk show host Steve Harvey, might have successfully dispelled the rumors that she's expecting a child with American rap mogul Didi after she shared a photo showing her flat tummy on Instagram. Now, you recall that the pregnancy rumors began after Didi was pictured rubbing her belly while on vacation together in Mexico. The rumors were further fueled by the fact that Lori was seen wearing a baggy shirt. Well, the model's most recent picture on Instagram is of her in a bikini when clearly her belly is flat. Now, whether or not the photo is a recent photo is still very much unclear, but you could see that, you know, very flat in there, no baby coming.
Then again, some people, their stomach will be flat until like 4 or 5 months,
so there are people like that.
That's not to say that, you know, she's pregnant. I mean, again, we don't know. These things are rumors. You see someone in a baggy shirt. You know how the industry is now.
Yeah.
You know how bloggers are. You know how news is. You see someone in a big shirt, Didi's touching her belly.
Yeah, their own paparazzi is on another level.
It's on another level.
I don't think they sleep.
Do you think that? And you're like, get out of my face, fast. They're so annoying. It's like,
annoying.
You're in Mexico. Are you on vacation? How did you see us in that little corner? How? But yeah, so we have to see how things go. It's still unconfirmed as to whether they're dating or not. Of course, we don't know if she's pregnant, but she didn't, even the caption of that photo, she didn't put anything. She didn't address anything. Just put a picture of her in a bikini. We don't know if it's a throwback. We don't know if it's a recent. We don't know if she did it to address the rumors, whatever.
The months will tell.
Yes.
I can't really hide it.
Now, time will always have the answer. You are pregnant, you're not pregnant. You have HIV, you don't have HIV. Don't worry, time will tell. All right, moving on. Kevin Hart's discharged from hospital. American comedian Kevin Hart has been discharged from the hospital 10 days after he was involved in a car crash. You will recall that the 40-year-old comedian was hospitalized after his car crashed through wooden fencing on the side of the road, rolled over and landed in a ditch in the Los Angeles area. Of course, we also told you that also in the car were his friend Jared S. Black, who was driving the vehicle, and Jared's fiancée, that's Rebecca Bruxterman, who is the personal trainer of Kevin Hart's wife, Nico Hart. According to reports, the ride-along actor has left the hospital and has been transferred to a live-in rehab facility doing intense physical therapy to recover from his car crash injuries and surgery. Sources close to the comedian also say he has a positive attitude and keeps saying, I am grateful to be alive.
Yes, and we're also grateful that Kevin Hart is alive and well and obviously doing quite fine, even despite the very serious accident. And I'm happy that he's coming out to say, I'm grateful. You know, most times when you become a huge international celebrity or superstar, it just feels like you're larger than life, like you're almost close to God, like after God is you. So this kind of things just puts you into perspective, humbles you, and just makes you know that, yo, you have to be grateful because everything could have just gone like this.
I'm really happy for him. One thing I have seen, or I think we've seen about Kevin Hart is that his comeback game is strong. So even when he cheated on his wife and people were like, yo, and then right after that, not too long after that, the Oscars thing happened with the homophobic tweets that were brought back. And then of course this happens. If it was Nigeria, they would say enemies are chasing him.
Village people.
But yeah, so his bounce back game is strong. So I'm just looking forward to seeing him get back on stage and do his thing.
I just like the fact that, you know, things like this, when they happen and you're alive, you just have that, you know, that thing, as you said, that it humbles you and it makes you see that, this life is very important and anything could have happened because, you know, especially how we say it in this climate, like people who are not even, people who are better than you are gone and you're still alive. Like, it's just God's grace.
You all need to stop saying that.
I do have a problem with that prayer.
My pastor is like, why do you have to say people died?
Yeah, you know.
But then I want to talk about the fact that, interestingly, I like what you said about Kevin Hart's comeback game being very strong, because he's one person that something happens in his life, the next thing you just hear, let me explain, concert, and you have a 2-hour, very funny, you know, stand-up show about what happened in his marriage.
And he's not
about
afraid
what
to make
happened
jokes
with
about them.
He loves making jokes about his life.
And guess what? People just accept him. They forgive him, like, wholeheartedly.
His wife will be there laughing.
Yes, and we move on from there. And I think that's just life. When you laugh at yourself, I mean, when people say other things about you, you don't even care. Because after all, you laugh about your problems.
I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah.
The roll and toss. Okay. On that note, today to wrap on entertainment news. It is now time for a celebrity birthday shout out. Now today, American singer and actor Jennifer Hudson turns a year older today.
Ooh.
Yes, this actress, who we remember rose to fame in 2004 from being a finalist on the 3rd season of American Idol. And today, she is 30 years. Wow.
So I particularly like Jennifer Hudson. I love the fact that she can sing. And then she can act. And apart from that, our weight loss journey.
Honestly
gosh.
speaking, like she's one person that she owned it. She wasn't. Let's I don't think
how you tell yourself
there's a thin
that
line between
I can do it, and then you do it. I love her.
Really nice.
All right, we also have English actor and film producer Jason Statham, who is he's celebrating today, and he turns 52, and he's still doing stunts, guys. That is impressive. Now, he's one of the main actors in the recently released movie Hobbs and Shaw.
That's
Expo, people.
Also, we have America rapper, songwriter, and media personality 2 Chainz. 2 Chainz. He is 42 years today. Not forgetting American R&B, pop, and gospel singer and actor Christopher Ruben Studdert, who turns 41 today.
Some days are just loaded like that. Like you have like 1,001 people celebrating. Oh my gosh, happy birthday to everyone celebrating today. We're celebrating here on A Splash.
Yes, we do.